Okay, no one's here to test my mic, but I'm here. So what's up? So got Starcrunsher, Cruncher versus Vallu. Very close Pvs together. We just got past the prologue, so it's gonna be fun. Of course, first off, we're seeing in Chapter 1, we just got a bunch of speed tech going on here. Advanced strategies of the wall bounces and all those things, all those good things, and the hyper dashes and all that. Chat doesn't want to work on my phone, so I can't see chat right now. There we go, now it's working. Okay. Oh, Starcrunsher taking a quick death there. That shouldn't affect too much here. But it is something to look at and something to watch out for, especially this early in. Any little gaps can occur and cause problems and lead changes. And Vallu having trouble on the final screen of Chapter 1. This can be a tough jump, but it's not that tough, Vallu. Come on. There we go. Took a few tries, so 214 for Vallu at the end of that chapter. Coming into Chapter 2 now, we got the old site. It's kind of got like a nice little ambiance to it with a nice dream area. These dream blocks. Dream blocks, you dash through them, you just get spat out the other side. Makes a cool noise when you get when you're dashing through them. You can jump out the second you are at the other side of them. You can also hyper dash out of them. It's a bit tighter than jumping. Got a battle line chase here, running away from battle line, who is copying our movements 3 seconds behind our movements. Both players now making very few mistakes, just playing it through. The Starcruncher not really giving any sort of chance right now for Vallu to catch up from that mistake at the end of Chapter 1. Starcruncher on the last screen of Chapter 2 now. As Vallu just starts that screen. There are little things that actually were happening in this horizontal section here. Right now we're trying not to bang into any walls or corners, as you don't want to ruin any of the momentum that you have. Corner boosting there from Starcruncher. You're just continuing on the momentum that you have before, hyper dashing and ultra dashing so that you don't get slowed down. And it's actually pretty critical. Surprisingly critical. Starcruncher finishing out with a 403 for Chapter 2 and Vallu at a 412. So Vallu catching up by a little bit. Moving into Chapter 3, the Celestial Resort is a hotel. And it's kind of dirty. It's got a bunch of dust bunnies around everywhere. And no one wants to touch dirt, so we're going to avoid all that dirt. But this dust bunny's alive and can move around a bunch, so you're going to have to be careful with dodging it. Oh, Starcrunsher mess it up on that hyper dash there. So you hyper dash off this, and when you're holding down on that platform, it actually falls faster. So it becomes kind of tighter timing when you do it like that. Or tighter timing than a normal hyper dash, rather. And Starcrunsher in that big mess section now, where it's a big mess, and you got a bunch of obstacles similar to the Awake section at the end of Chapter 2. A lot of obstacles that you gotta avoid to maintain the momentum that you're trying to keep. Bit of a redundant sentence, but you understand what I'm saying. So, starting off, one of 3 sections here. This is the box section of the big mess. That was an interesting thing that happened there. Trying to get the spike jump. Went a bit too far. I guess didn't expect the momentum that they had from the previous screen. And these little mistakes actually allowing Vallu to potentially catch up. Currently, I'd say about a 10-second difference between the 2 players right now. Oh, less than that. No, it actually is about 10 seconds. Never mind. Yeah, about 10 seconds. Now doing the books section. Starcrunsher just finished that out. And now starting the towel sections for Starcrunsher. Alright, as Vallu just finishes out the books. So 7:10 on putting away the towels for Starcrunsher. And for Vallu, as soon as they get there, gonna be playing it safe on the screen currently, and still dies, unfortunately. That's a 7:25. So that's actually not really a good idea of what's going on, considering the large gap that just occurred there from dying on that screen. After trying to be so careful there as well. So now going up the elevator shaft. Again, the hyper dash is over there for Starcrunsher into the intentional death warp. And now on the final screen for Starcrunsher before starting out the... Yeah, it's been close this whole race, and it's gonna maintain that distance probably throughout the whole race. I don't expect this to get more than a minute difference between the 2 players throughout the whole entire race. So anyway, Starcrunsher starting out the Oshiro section now, getting charged dead by Oshiro horizontally in intervals with a warning lightning bolt. Before they charge you can bop them in the head, and that will kind of pause them for a bit. Oh, Vallu taking a quick death at the beginning of the Oshiro section. Won't cost too much time there. And Starcrunsher now on the final screen of the chapter. And like all final screens of the chapter, you'll notice that they are always a bit longer than the other screens, or one of the longer screens of the chapter. And you gotta make sure you get through all of it without dying, otherwise you get sent really far back. So Vallu just playing it safe in this Oshiro section. One, make sure that they don't lose any more ground than they already have. Starcrunsher starting out chapter 4 with a 908. And Vallu looking to get about a 9-3x at the end of this chapter, playing it safe yet again, waiting for Oshiro to charge. Yep, there's a 9-3-5. And so now starting out chapter 4, the Golden Ridge. There's some bubbles, there's some clouds. Bubbles, yeah. Act like a dash on their own. And kind of just they go a dash distance. You can make them go in any direction a regular dash can, and then you have your dash once you get out of them as well. And we got clouds, like trampolines basically, and we got wind, but it's like wind. And we got directional platforms. They move in a direction. That's in a spike jump from Starcruncher. Oh, bit of bad execution going on that auto-scroller skip, so has to do it again. Unfortunately, it looked like he might have been able to actually recover that, but it was very tight, and it was not the easiest thing to be able to react to. So completely understandable to having to do that as well a second time. Hey, if you have any more questions about the directional platforms, I am happy to answer them. But they move in the direction that the arrow is pointing. Like, that's all they do. So Starcruncher now starting out the the harsh wind section of Golden Ridge. The wind's moving so quickly that you gotta dash pretty much the whole time. Hyper dash and walking won't do here. Hyper dashing, ultra dashing, wave dashing. And Vallu starting at about 30 seconds behind Starcruncher. Starcruncher now has finished it out with a 12:15-ish, just under a 12:15, so we'll call it a 12:15. I didn't mention these snowballs, by the way. We've got snowballs coming from the right side of the screen in intervals. They have a small hitbox, but they are dangerous because they have no warning of when they will come. But they do come in set intervals across the screen. Oh, quick death there from Vallu. Shouldn't affect him too much. You know, Starcruncher starting out Chapter 5, the Mirror Temple. These are dash platforms. The move when you dash towards the end of the track and then slowly move back to the beginning of the track. These are red bubbles, like blue bubbles in Chapter 4, but they move all the way until they hit a wall, or you dash out of them to end their movement early. Vallu on the final screen now of Chapter 4. We'll be finishing that out at 12:55. That's about a 40-second difference now in finish times for Chapter 4. Oh, Starcruncher trying to get a good boost over here from this directional platform. Gets the corner boost. That looks like a successful flying. I don't know what you'd call that necessarily. And are they going for double bubble skip? This is a double. Oh my god. Starcruncher. What? I don't know what to say. I did not expect Starcruncher to be going for that. That was impressive. Yeah, I refuse to call that long dash that Vallu's attempting right now what you are calling it in the chat, but I will call double bull skip by its name. Yes, sitting here in the Starcruncher, just casually doing double bubble skip, no problem. I'm ignoring that comment. So we got Seekers now. These Seekers, they are enemies. They will charge at you, focusing on your X and Y position in regular intervals. You can also pop them in the head to stop them from charging at you at regular intervals. Any coins or red blocks that are in their path, they will destroy the red blocks. They will pick up the coins. And you pop on them, they do a little cooldown thing. You saw it there, that Starcruncher just had. And then they kind of burst up outward in a shockwave and pick up any coins, burst any red blocks with the shockwave that way. So a lot of movement manipulation of these Seekers, things that we probably shouldn't be doing because they are very dangerous enemies. But you gotta go fast, we gotta play dangerous, we gotta live dangerously or go slow. Those are our choices. And what do you think a speedrunner is gonna choose? Okay. Starcruncher now been oh! That was a fast search skip, not even using not even having to use a reverse hyperdash over there. Was able to preserve the momentum from the previous screen to allow them to fly forward and not even need to do any sort of hyperdashing, just kind of keeping that momentum. That was cool to see. I didn't even know what to say about that. Yeah. Someone has practiced Chapter 5. Speaking of things in Chapter 5 that you need to practice, we got Theo over here. Theo section, you cannot dash while holding Theo, but you can use all the momentum that you can preserve any momentum that you have when picking up Theo. So you can hyper dash and then ultra dash and then pick up Theo and you will go flying. You can throw Theo and pick him up and you will go flying because the momentum that Theo has when you pick him up is also still there. And so that's happening right now. We got this directional, we got this dash platform. Dash is a bit too early. Just trying to wave dash in it along with that so that this Starcruncher could get even more flying momentum over. And now on the final screen of Chapter 5, and now going into this long hallway. Vallu started up at Theo section 2. Probably somewhere in the middle of Theo section right now. And it's 1707 at the end of that chapter. What's the IL of that? Is that a 448? I think that said 448. I'm not 100 on that. I might be off by like 10 seconds. It might have been even faster than a 448 for all I know. Like that thing was a crazy time. So I would not be surprised if that was like maybe like a PB for his IL or anything. Yeah, it might have been an IL PB. Who knows? It most likely was. Like that was a crazy Chapter 5. Oh, Vallu just barely missing on that dash block there. Accidentally drops Theo. Messing up on leg skip isn't going to do a second try on leg skip. So we're in Chapter 6 now. Got these Kevin blocks. They roar. No vengeance. Oh, okay. So not an ILPB, but very close. Only 6 seconds off. Anyway, we got feathers. They move around in 360 degrees. And the Kevin blocks, they move in the direction that you dash into them in. And then make a very nice noise provided by a sound guy named Kevin, which is why we call him that. Good movement there, able to get to that falling block before Kevin block can get to it. Vallu not going for the leg skip, simply going for what's intended here. Ooh, the feather movement was a bit weird there. Got hit the ceiling and ended up dying because the movement was kind of weird in general with how the feather reacted. So, split paths going on here in Chapter 6. I don't expect them to take different paths, but there are different choices that exist in this chapter. They're all generally the same amount of time. Like, difference of, like, maybe 2 seconds. Maybe. Okay, going through the intended shortcut here, dev intended shortcut here on Starcrunsher screen. Third hole is the hardest. Gets through it, no problem. And now, just about to go into the battle line fight, playing around with the Kevin block, because you gotta wait a bit before you can do this battle line boost here. Oh, unfortunately not able to get it into the cutscene. In some ways, this seems like you have a giant advantage. You have kind of an advantage playing in German, because the word for skip cutscene seems to be much longer than the word for retry in the pause screen. So you can immediately tell whether or not you have retry, on the screen or skip cutscene. And of course, yeah, let's get some hey yaws in the chat for this amazing music as we are going on in this battle line fight. Gotta continuously get to battle line at the end of the screen, or somewhere in the middle of the screen, and then they will move towards the end of the screen. Got projectiles going on, and some lasers going on, gotta avoid them. Got falling platforms that happen as well. Vallu attempting their battle line boost now. It's looking pretty good. Yep, gets it into the cutscene, well done. So both these players now in the battle line fight. I have not actually been able to. I actually haven't had a chance to check time differences between the two players right now. So it's kind of hard right now. There's no real milestone I could use. I could use the midway point between this battle line fight, which will be coming up pretty soon. I believe it's after this screen. Is what's kind of known as the midpoint of the battle line fight, where the music's gonna change slightly. So that's 2206 landing on the ground there, starting this this midpoint. Or actually, yeah, let's say 2212 because they just let's say 2212 hitting that skip cutscene button. Okay. So that's a good little milestone marker to use to try to see how far apart these two players are. So in the second part, it's about the same. Got glitchier music, so the music change is really what's significant here. There is also the the falling platforms now move back and forth in cycles. So what else is that going on? Vallu playing it very carefully, making sure not to die to the lasers that are being shot at them. And Starcrunsher has finished out Chapter 6. And at the end of Chapter 6, you get these two dashes. Vallu seems to be coming in here about a minute difference between the two, just under a minute difference, 23:09. I said about 22:12 before, so yeah, about just under a minute difference between the two players going into the summit. And we'll see that for sure once we get the finishing times. We got a 23, basically a 23:28. Why do you keep doing this, getting 0.9 something on your seconds? 23:28, let's just call it that, at the end of Chapter 6. There, and that'll be a good indicator. And yeah, 32 is possible for Starcrunsher right now. Summit can take about 9 minutes. It can take longer than that as well. But there are possibilities that you can beat it that quickly. Yeah, Starcrunsher having a really good run today, actually. And Vallu just about finishing out Chapter 6. So Starcrunsher in Chapter 7 here. We got the summit going on. Everyone praying for him, making sure that that Starcrunsher gets far and is able to get through this pretty quickly. As it is a long chapter, it's got a section devoted to each previous chapter that has happened in this game. So that's actually pretty much almost exactly a minute difference between the two players going into Chapter 7. So, I mean, that's still nothing to, like, stick your nose at. You still shouldn't ignore the difference here. Like, these players could potentially catch up to each other. It is possible, certainly. I always say a minute is about the difference that where people... Anything more than a minute and you really start to... It gets to the point where you, like, there is less of a chance of the other player catching up, but here this is actually still possible. Starcrunsher unfortunately not able to get that corner grab there, and not getting hyper dashes out of these dream blocks, and so retrying it, I guess, just because that's what they're used to on these screens at this point, getting those hyper dashes. So when they don't get them, they kind of just reset it because they don't know what to do. They know they're dead, potentially. Starcrunsher finishing out 1,000 meters now. Going into 1,500 meters. 1,500 meters has a lot of interesting parts that you can mess up. A lot of cycles going on here, and if you mess up on the movement here, you end up having to wait for the next cycle, essentially. So you got to be careful and make sure that you are having tight movement and doing what you want to do, so that you don't get hit by these dust bunnies. Able to get through that screen well. And now got this hyperdash room with a bunch. Oh, that's not good. Okay, kind of gotta edit the movement here. That was some good improv. For a second, I thought they were a bit too early on that dash, and they were gonna hit the dust bunny below at the end, but was able to get through. Seriously, taking such risky dashes here at the end of 1,500 meters, scaring the heck out of me. And now Vallu starting out the 1,500 meter area. Accidentally not picking up that crystal. Very important. You gotta regain your dashes. Going for the auto scroller here. Auto scroller skip on Starcrunsher side gets the hyper dash and gets the wall bounce. And now a slightly smaller skip here. It's still considered a skip, and it's still an auto scroller, so it's called the second part. Auto scroller skip 2 doesn't even do it, so why am I even talking about it? Who knows? Vallu also having to improv, not doing the correct movement here, not doing the optimal movement, having to wait around for that cycle there on that last dust bunny. And Starcrunsher now in 2,500 meters. We got a lot of named skips going on this section. So watch out for those names, and people gonna show some love for them, I'm sure, in the chat. As you don't get a name without then being loved. So this first off is key skip. Got 2 neutral jumps there. Get that key and then death warp out of there. Vallu taking a death there from the snowballs. That's a bit unfortunate. This is one of the longer screens. And now into auto-scroller skip for Vallu. Threading the needle for here for Starcruncher. Able to get through that on the first try. He's not going for door skip. Going for door skip skip. Oh, and Vallu's failing on the second auto-scroller skip. And so that's going to be a bit of a time loss as well, as this is auto-scroller. So you... Oh my god! Vallu! Starcruncher starting out 3,000 meters, getting those last 30 flags. Come on, Vallu, get out of this auto-scroller. There we go, good job, okay. People counting it down as we are all very excited, potentially. Starcruncher getting very close to potential PB. If anyone has the exact time for Starcruncher's PB, that would be nice. Because I know it's a 32-minute something. And, you know, exact numbers would be good to know. Yes, this is cutting it pretty close. And it will cut it pretty close. Oh, it's a 33-12. Oh, it's okay, not cutting as close as I thought it would. Okay. Vallu in 2,500 meters. Going for that key skip. Flag number 13 now. Vallu threads that needle, no problem. And he's a man of the people, because he's getting that door skip. Person of the people. People of the people. At flag number, at the final 10 flags for Starcrunsher. $32.26 PB star. Okay. Cutting it pretty close. This is pretty close. It's hard to tell right now. On the final 5 flags for Starcruncher. What? Come on, guy. Come on, Starcruncher. Vallu just started out there, 3,000 meter dash. And Starcruncher on the final 2 flags. Oh, someone had the best possible time on there. Gets a death there, unfortunately. So yes, it is a 33-12, not a 32 something. That was their best possible time on their splits, which is not the same thing. So yes, this is going to PB a PB unless they die here. Even then, they might still be able to get it. That is a 32-47. Well done. Vallu on flag, I believe that was flag 13? Might have been 14. Was that flag 14? Yeah, that was flag 14. This is flag 13. So well done, getting 17 deaths. 32-47. That is 14 unintentional deaths, because that is including a double bubble skip death. So well done for Starcruncher. Do we have audio for Vallu? Let me double check. If we do not, it doesn't sound like it. It just doubled his volume, and there's still nothing, so not usable. Unfortunate. Okay, so we got background music going on. Yeah, okay, so we'll just have some nice epilogue music right now at the end. Just for a bit as we're watching Vallu do now flag number 3. No, this is number 2. I can't count. This is flag number 2. On flag number 1 now. And getting a 34-15. So good show by both of these players. Starcruncher just playing really up to par, beating their own PB. So just Vallu was really good. Was just in a really good place today to do a race. So Vallu, despite playing really well, was not able to win it because of that. Okay, I'm gonna have Starcruncher and Vallu come in here for interviews. Hello, people.
Hey.
That was Starcruncher voice? Or was that Vallu's voice?
Hello.
Okay, hi Vallu. So, what's up? It's a pretty good race between you two.
I would say so too.
Yeah, I would say so, Starcruncher getting a PB over there.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
By 25 seconds.
Jeez. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. So, you know, so one of those cases where it didn't matter too much that your play was a bit less than what you're used to, probably, Vallu, I'm guessing. Like, I know there were some mistakes that I saw here and there.
Uh-huh.
So, not to insult anything, just... And yeah, Starcruncher had double bubble skip going on in there, and
What the hell?
and had the giant momentum from the previous screen thing before that, and so got the corner boost going on with that. So there was some good stuff going on. A really good chapter 5 and chapter 4.
Sounds like a lot of practice went into that.
Yeah, I would think so. But I don't want to steal either of your thunders too much. Any thoughts going on? Anything going on in your minds right now?
I had a nice last split.
I can't even think straight right now.
I don't blame you. Crazy they were able to do that. I guess it's just one of those days for you.
Definitely.
Yep.
Okay, I don't have too much to say with this because it just was a solid run from Starcruncher, and it unfortunately resulted in what we see here today of the difference between your two finish times. It wouldn't have been this big of a difference if it wasn't for the fact of Starcruncher's play today. Like, this is not the distance between the two players that I was expecting. These two players.
All right.
Okay, so thank you for playing. Thank you for racing. It was fun to watch. I had fun commentating.
Thank you for commentating, and GG's Vallu.
GG's.
Okay. Let's check that schedule. So we're done with Celeste races for today, but there is a portal race that's going to be happening on this channel at 6:30. And Ori Randomizer also starting up at 6:30. But until then, there's actually not much starting up yet before then, so oh, just having fun. I gotta go eat dinner though, so we should end this interview at some point. So I'll just drop links in the chat to follow the runners and follow me if you like. You can also keep up in the Celeste tournament if you want to as well. I believe we do have some. Like I said before, there are no more races today for Celeste, but there are some coming up later in the week. So say I'm actually going to look at that link myself as well. And yeah, we got 2 races on Saturday at 11 and 9, and those will be good. We got a race on Sunday, so we got a good weekend coming up. I'm sure it's potential that we could even get a couple more scheduled into there. Who knows? So yeah, keep paying attention to those links. Looks like someone tried to post the links themselves to your channels. Thank you for that, I guess, but we have commands. So yeah, cool. Enjoy the rest of Speed Gaming stuff and play this game. It's a good game. Good job, runners. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.